Hey, what's happening, everybody? I'm here because I'm doing an unboxing for the first time in a couple centuries. Anyways, I not really am used to this live thing, but I'm gonna try it for the first time in a long time. Anyways, I ordered some stuff a long while ago, like months ago, within the past few months, and it all came. A couple of things were relatively not that long ago. But anyways, everything came at once today. So I'm gonna do a little three package unboxing for you today. First and foremost, I have a package here from Disney Rewards. And it is a bit of a sticky package on the inside because they like to keep it secure. But it's the Bob's Burgers movie. With digital copy, which is awesome because I can add this right to my collection and watch it with my wife tonight or this weekend, whenever we're able to do so. Anyways, that's the movie, and it was a limited time reward from Disney Movies Insiders, and I managed to swoop in at the right moment at the right time to get the last copy in there, which doesn't usually happen for me. But I am excited that I was able to snatch that real quick and get it for free, essentially, using my rewards points. Anyways, essentially, is it free? It wasn't a gifted to me from them, but it was more so I used my points on it. So it didn't cost me anything, but I purchased it with my rewards. Anyways, the next one is this box. Something I've been waiting for decades to accomplish this. Recently, I was able to get a opportunity to get a it's a bit strong. So I grew up playing Sega Genesis, and one of my favorite games of all time, obviously Ghostbusters, for Sega Genesis, was recently modded, and a limited edition physical copy was just produced, as well as the digital. I need to brush up on my ROM editing, ROM applying skills, or lack thereof. But I ordered a physical copy that was custom made that blew my mind because of the look and the feel and the style. And I am absolutely in love with the look of it. And now I get to hold it in my hands for the first time since the early to mid 90s. I was never able to complete the game. And now that they have basically a God mode superhuman code, Superman code, I can actually complete the game in one sitting. Something I wanted to do since I was a child. So this is really cool. About to open it up right now here. I got the package. The box came right out of the box. And this is absolutely mind-blowing. To be able to unwrap this, wow. Yeah, this is surreal. Ghostbusters Special Edition 16-bit cartridge, built from scratch. Even the back cover, it's absolutely stunning to see the little blocks in the background, the little grid with this new cover. The new cover looks cool, but it's even cooler in person. And Toy Source Games made this. Makes a lot of incredible retro classic games produced in modern time. I mean, this thing is mint condition, incredible. It's got the original barcodes and everything, but with updated pictures and text and everything. And on the inside, I'm going to open it up. Oh my gosh. That cartridge looks even better in person. It's brand new with the Sega imprints and Micronician chips set in there. And that logo is flawless. Flawless victory. I mean, the craftsmanship is top notch. I've never seen such craftsmanship in a cartridge of Genesis since the original launch titles back in the early '90s. I would go to Toys R Us and get my games on my birthday and whatnot, and yeah, it's gonna be cool playing this, and definitely going in my safe. Something I want to carry with me in my small little trove of life's top-notch belongings. Anyways, here's the booklet, fully reproduced from 1990. The booklet, but with new updated graphics, details about the characters, everything here. You got cameos, you got little shops, you got Goiza, Peking Duck, infrared scopes, explosives, bubble projectiles. I mean, you got everything here, including a secret nightmare mode. Obviously, I'm finally going to play this, but I'm going to play as Winston. And growing up, I was a Venkman fan, like everybody. As an adult, I became a fan of Race Dance more than anything. But Winston deserves his due, and that's why I'm glad the four are united and featured together again, and for the first time in this scenario. The fact that he was not included, even though he showed up later in the film as a new hire, he was part of the crew. And like the video game said, he eventually got his doctorate, Winston. Anyways, on to number 3. Definitely bringing this upstairs and showcasing this and keeping it very near and dear to my heart. So we got a new movie, a new old game, and now for the third biggest piece. They're all equally as awesome and memorable to me, by the way. So anyways, putting that to the side, all that packaging, and moving on to this package. That Smiley looks familiar. One of my favorite musicians and a good friend of mine is Jesse from Basic Printer. And I had the honor of seeing him live this past few months ago. And I finally was able to overcome my excitement and finally complete the collection by getting my favorite record of his, Fantastic Wrist. I mean, all his records are great, from the self-titled to Fantastic Wrist to Good Weird. I'm saying them out of order. And even the new Ha Ha Yeah album. But Fantastic Wrist is the biggest in terms of tracks numbers on the album itself. It's a 14-track masterpiece. And it's what got me into the group. I am a huge, huge fan because I see a lot of my work and what I'm trying to do into what he's actually done. And artists respect artists, I'm opening up the vinyl. Ooh, boy. And as promised, Pokemon card. Can't really. Ooh. Never really seen that one before. It's kind of cool. I like it. And then we got a handwritten note. And a Fantastic Wrist lenticular sticker here. Well, I don't know if that's the right word. But anyways, that is really cool. It's the Fantastic Wrist logo. And of course, the signed Fantastic Wrist vinyl record. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like. It is absolutely incredible. I mean, the craftsmanship on this thing, the quality, the artwork is so detailed. And on the inside here, we have all the lyrics. On the back, personalized note from the man. And that, of course, incredibly gorgeous Midnight Blue record with the whole album on one disc. Well, disc, vinyl. Some of my favorite tracks on here are Tetris, which is the opening track. You also got Smoke and Scowl. I mean, the detail and writing on this is absolutely phenomenal. Ozymandian, you can't go wrong with that track. Emulator, which we heard live in Akron, well, Cleveland, Akron, live in Ohio. And it was absolutely incredible. Lots of great tracks on here. It's an incredible listen start to finish, or by picking your favorite tracks out. But the collection is complete. The whole thing is here. And that is one of my favorite colors of a vinyl. And one of my favorite records, too. So, I mean, the lyrics are incredible. If you've ever listened to them, it's got so much emotion. And it's probably one of the most well put together, well recorded, well designed records that I've probably ever heard. I'm absolutely in love with this record. It's been a huge inspiration for me to hear his music and see his vision just come to life. The cool thing is he's helped me break away from the preconceived notions of an album has to be this length, an album has to be of this substance or that, I'm able to write shorter albums, but with more depth. And I'm really, really passionate about that. Because now my new goal this year is to produce 10 albums within 1 year. I've already done 5, and we just hit the halfway marker. We've hit June already. I'm actually working on my 6th album this year. And this one is called Gourd. My 26th album is called Gourd. I don't know why. Basically, the theme of it is very weird. It's about a series of strangers on a road trip who encounter a giant Maui head that appears in the middle of the road with laser beams out its eyes. And what these lasers do is not destroy things, but distort memory. And it's a really interesting concept because it's about beauty of nature, discovery, identity, all clashing together. So it's the interesting concept. I have the albums mapped out all the way to album 30. So 26th album is going to be Gourd. 27th album is Immortal Carnival. 28th album is Desolator, which is probably the darkest one I've done in almost 10 years. And after that, it gets a little bit more gritty, but it mm, it's more gritty, but it's more raw. And it goes from dark to pure raw, and that is I'm talking more raw than the Medallion Live album I was putting together, and well, not quite that level, but um, it's more so. It's got like a lot of grit to it. For both of the 28th and 29th album. Anyways, after Desolator's Darkness moves into the raw territory of the 29th album, which is called Same Dinosaur, Different Channel. It's pretty much if you take the upcoming Gourd album and melt it with Desolator. So two of my upcoming albums, if you beacon them together, what's going to happen is it's going to beam out something very unique. The biggest influence of this album is actually the Nine Inch Nails Broken EP. So that's pretty interesting concept. And then I'm going to cap it all off for the 30 album run with a concept album called Aetherius. Aetherius is a vintage, borderline hierarchy of gods on an empty throne type deal, which I hint at that a little bit. The song Sloppy Joke, which I just recorded off of the album Gourd, it's kind of moving in from albums 26 through 30, it kind of moves into a little bit of an Easter egg territory. It starts off with, like, there's a lot of foreshadowing in Gourd that the floodgates will open on Immortal Carnival, and then it's going to go to a really cool place, basically. A really, really cool place that I'm not normally used to setting up a timeline for. So every one of my albums is predetermined with a number, a timeline, a place in history. In my first 20 years of doing this, I had different goals, and I would record them out of place. Like, even so, my 9th album, Eyeballs Volume 9, I had taken, and I had previously had a different title. And I just felt like, this isn't really where I wanted it to be. So I took a bunch of 2 albums worth of sessions, and I melted them together into one. And then I'm sorry. I took dozens of albums that I melted into one, and then I had enough material for both Eyeballs Volume 9, which is my 9th album, and then I had enough to make a cohesive album out of Gods Amongst Demons, which was originally intended to be a series of EPs that were tied together to make that album. And then instead I was able to make a full-fledged album out of multiple tracks from the abandoned EPs, and had reinitialized beyond the first EP and decided to make it a full LP. So basically, I had Frankensteined the 9th and 10th albums, and that's kind of the approach that gave me the idea for what I was doing beyond Creatures of Cataclysm, which was my 20th album. My goal was to basically tackle a lot of themes and ideas, and I ended up being able to come up with a concept. I'm like, wait a minute, I've been putting out albums relatively quick. It takes me maybe only a month or two now to put out an album's worth of ideas, to play vocals, melody, everything. And now with the ability to mix everything in one go now on my phone, I'm able to record albums like tenfold. And that gave me the idea of, okay, let's take it back to the concept of albums 9 and 10. Seeing what I did for Eyeballs Volume 9 and Gods Amongst Demons. And then I decided, well, let me try to put out 10 albums within a year. There's going to be more than 10 by the time this year is done, I believe, if everything goes correctly. Right now, I got... after Creatures of Cataclysm, I was like, I'm starting the year, which was a bit of a rough start, and it gave me a lot of ideas. The way this year started was rough for me and my family, but we ended up bouncing back, and we're taking a year full of positives and setbacks, and we're conquering the setbacks, and we're basically taking those pieces that we repair from all the setbacks that we face, and using it as an inspiration to help others and to really help us with music and everything. And the thing is, that's when I came up with, I started releasing them out of order, but I have, Cryptid Writings was meant to be album 21, even though it was probably the last one I had. Well, it was probably the fourth one this year that I've done, but in the placement of things, it goes Cryptid Writings, Rites of Amoris Rapture passage. I don't know where that came from. Maybe it's a future for a song. Rites of Amoris Rapture, and then 23rd album, definitely Planet Judas. Planet Judas was a big concept for me. The original concept was, okay, Planet Judas is the next album, and it's going to be this huge, monumental thing, and it's going to have this big level of power and amplitude and concept. It was going to be this huge concept record. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I have lots of ideas that would make great albums, and the songs are flowing towards one side or the other. So originally Planet Judas and then Rites of Amoris Rapture were the first two I had conceptualized. And I'm like, okay, these songs feel more like they would belong on an album of the Rites of Amoris Rapture theme. And then going from that, it ended up being, okay, I'm putting these other songs that don't really fit. Like one or two songs didn't fit Planet Judas or Rites of Amoris Rapture. And I think the song that got me officially on the trail of, okay, 10 albums within 1 year, and that was Snake Oil Skinwalker. That song, I'm like, this is interesting. This is different. Because at that point, I had created, I also had the album Tenebrae on the back record. I was like, for some reason, I was writing the word remember, and it was coming up Tenebrae in all caps. on my phone, on the computer and stuff. I'm like, why is mostly on my phone? Why is the word tenebrae coming up? Tenebrae is a sign of mourning or a state. It's kind of like in religion, a Maundy Thursday during Lent, um, during the season of Easter, and I was like, well, that's interesting word. That's an interesting concept for an album. So I had Tenebrae in mind, and I knew it was going to be like, you know, the black album, the white album, the yellow album. It was the brown album. I don't know why. Brown like leather, and ancient, old, and this backdrop actually was in my mind when I was putting together Tenebrae, and I'm like, this is going to be an interesting record too. So before I know it, I ended up with um, 5 albums, a 40-track concept. But then I had these songs like Snake Oil Skinwalker, again, that didn't fit. Remember talking with the Cleveland Monster Club in our video chats during the pandemic, and where I met a lot of my good friends. And I had thought to myself in some conversations I had with my friend Stretch, and I had said, well, cryptids are a pretty big topic in the world today, not just with our group that we were having. And I decided I was on a kick of listening to Megadeth's slower stuff, more deeper cuts, because I was I'm still back fully into Metallica, and I'm like, okay, Dave Mustaine is a visionary to this day. You got songs like Super Collider, you got songs like Atulemons, you got songs like, Trust, Almost Honest. And looking at that, you're like, this guy had a great concept in mind when he made cryptic writings. I was like, you know what? Let me make cryptid writings. I'm already talking about a snake oil skinwalker. And then I could do a song called Calling All Cryptids to really carry that album. But then that also brought me back to Tenebrae. I'm like, where does Tenebrae come in place? I said, well, I have Planet Judas. I have Rites of Morris Rapture that kind of split off. They don't feel like double albums or even a triple album. I have 4 concepts here. And then I was listening to Saint Anger, and I still love that album by Metallica. I'm one of the few people who embraces that sound fully. I love that album. And the thing about it is, I came up with this album called Saint Weird. I'm like, well, I'm weird. I want to create a character like Saint Anger, a concept. And that's where Saint Weird came in place. And then I came up with the line, it ain't weird for Saint Weird. And then I made the video I put out recently. My first music video in a while. I want to do more video projects as well as audio. But that always will come second nature to the music production. Putting out these albums are like pieces of a story that gets bigger and bigger and bigger the more you look at it. And I think the cool thing about it is, with Saint Weird being the 25th album, I decided to take a little mini break, and I put out a covers album from some older stuff that I had and some new stuff that I had. And I had, I was like, man, I was having so much fun with it. So I wrote 6 cover albums. Now the second one has been released, and in between every few albums, I'm going to put out, a covers album. But that's my goal. My goal is to finish to album 30 by the year's end, or by the new year. This is the new charge box. This is the next level, and then I can build another concept or another challenge on top of that. I'm also working on an album called Director's Cut, which is extended versions of songs with intro tracks melted together, seamless. So you have the full Dance Within the Fire from Decibel X. You have the intro Chase Me Into Oblivion, and Dance Within the Fire, Continuous. I also melted together Hell Is Here director's cut, which is basically The Drought and Hell Is Here combined into one. It's seamless, probably the most seamless transition I've done. And then I took the thematic theme of Mind Overboard, and also I took Pool of Darkness, because they had a similar beat structure. When I put those two together, and I had that for a reason. On the album, I wanted to have a recurring sonic theme, especially to those two tracks. And I decided, you know what? Let me create something called Mind of Darkness. And it's basically the two songs put together. You got Mind Overboard, and then it slows down at the end into Pool of Darkness. So it's a really long track. It's probably the songs are probably between 8 to 10 minutes a piece. But it's cool to have select tracks that are multi-layered like that, with different parts. You know, the intro being a standalone previously is now part of the whole. I also have an extended cut of the Chargebox song, Chargebox, and that opens the director's cut compilation essentially. And the cool thing about that is I had this horned intro called The Great Victory, which I might release it down the line as just a standalone track, just tossed up on Spotify or Apple Music or something. But anyways, I added that into the intro and outro of Chargebox. So Chargebox has an intro and outro, and it just perfectly flows together. There's like a little explosion sound from the little orb intro outro from Breed One, where he goes, "Oh yeah," which was inspired by Kool-Aid Man. So I took the little boom effect at the end, and I melted that to bridge the outro of The Great Victory with the intro of Chargebox, because it just jumps right into the beat, But now it jumps right into the beat right at the right cue. You hear the horns 3 or 4 times, and then on the fourth one, it just boom, and then the song hits. But it's probably the single best track I have whatsoever. It's my namesake track for music. It's everything in one. In addition to that, I'm also working on an unplugged compilation or freshly recorded versions of songs with my acoustic, and with the raw files that I had, the raw acoustics that were on record. So that's the plan for the end of the year, is to finish the last 5 Chargebox albums. If I don't hit it, that's fine. I will finish the concept. I will tweak it however it need to be, but that's how it stands right now. People are wondering what I should do in terms of maybe you should make a collection of the songs that you're recording this year, the best ones, and make that like a super album. I tossed around that idea too, but I also don't want to take any credibility away from these 8-track albums. The theme is, if anybody hasn't noticed yet, the albums that I'm putting out from album 21 through 30, they're all 8 tracks apiece. They all have one instrumental track and whatnot. Anyways, I'm about to cut this live feed off, and I am happy to be able to share these things with you. Once again, if you have time or the funds to do so, pick up Fantastic Wrist on vinyl, the best colored vinyl I've ever seen. It's signed. There's also standard options. You get a free Pokemon card at random. You also get a free decal, personalized note. It is the coolest thing. this album, and it's one of my all-time favorites. To have it on this format, I have it on CD, digital, and vinyl now. That's how much I love this record. And I can't wait to play this beautiful thing. The game of my childhood, fully remastered, with added bonuses, perfectly done. And then I got a home date night for my wife and me. Bob's Burgers movie. Gene, of course, is my favorite character. Gotta love that kid. Anyways, I'm about to head off of here. Be on the lookout for Gourd. It's coming together really fast. I already have 2.5 songs done, ready to go. I have the intro, which is called Apostrophic. I have the track Sloppy Joke done, which is a play on words, Sloppy Joe, Sloppy Joke. The lead single is going to be called Sub Sandwich. Sub Sandwich is coming. Why Sub Sandwich? Why not? Who doesn't love a sub sandwich? Is the song about food? No, it's not. I will say that right now. The food is about peeling back fresh layers of yourself. The person being a metaphorical sub-sandwich of themselves, to indulge in themselves a little bit. So, again, not food, but also showing my love and appreciation for sub-sandwiches. So, yeah, that's the goal. That's the plan, and I'm proud of what I've done. Gourd is coming along very fast, so be on the lookout. It's going to hit Apple Music. It's going to hit Spotify. It's going to hit everywhere. Anyways, back to this weekend. I will not be recording this weekend because this Sunday I'm returning to the world of professional wrestling. I am returning to commentary, which is my dream come true. I love doing live commentary, and I will be doing commentary for Rubber City Wrestling at Melanie Lake in Kim Tam Park for one of 3 huge summer shows starting this Sunday, June 25th, live for a huge outdoor show on the beach. I will not be able to attend the one on Thursday, July 6th, but I will be at the one on Sunday, July 30th. So you got me for 2 out of the 3 summer shows as your voice of commentary, and I can't wait to be there. I am ultra thrilled. I will also be attending as not a member, but a patron with my family, as a paid customer of the first ever time for me and my family. A lifelong goal of mine will be achieved by going to the Great Lakes Medieval Fair. I'm going on August 13th because that is the last day and it's Superhero Day. Why not? It's everything I like rolled into one. So that is the plan. I'm also still looking for remote work. So if anybody needs graphic design, needs video training, somebody that could be on registration, interview, good with people, this is something that I enjoy doing. So I am proud to say that my graphic design work is only getting better over these past decades. I'm very proud of the clients I've had so far. I'm truly grateful for them. And yeah, I'm really, really excited for the future. I produce music, not just for myself, for others. I'm a music producer. I'm a graphic designer. I'm a composer. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm an actor. I'm a voice actor. Artist, comedian, whatever you name it. I also have a show on the new network called Galactic Showdown, which is coming soon. Next week, I will be filming episode 2, so be on the lookout for that. We're going to talk paranormal. We're going to talk proof. We're going to talk everything under the sun. I will see you guys soon. Love you all very much. It's Gus Galaxy here. Gus Galaxy Gogan, GX3. Whatever you want to call me, I am here. I am ready. I am in it to win it. And I am your entertaining dude with the future in mind. Thank you. Have an awesome day and an awesome week. Now let's turn the second half of this year into a monumental, epic